Imagine this is me doing this very cool unboxing of a Sizzle Big Shot die cutting machine, because today I'm going to be looking at one in view of cutting felt for felt applique. Thank you very much, Sizzle Lady. There is an embroidery artist called Corinne Lapierre. I've got a couple of her books. I've done a couple of her kits. I really enjoy her work. I really enjoy how felt works with embroidery. But what I'm not very good at is cutting out lots and lots of tiny little pieces of felt. So I thought that perhaps if I could die cut some basic shapes, that might be easier for me. So I started to look at these Big Shot machines, and my first impression was I was really shocked at the cost, because in my view it's really sort of old technology. It's essentially just like a mangle or a pasta rolling machine. You are putting your fabric and the dye through a press and it cuts it out for you. It's not sort of digital, it's not laser cutting or anything, so I was quite surprised at the cost. However, I managed to get this one on eBay. I was watching it for a while and the seller gave me an offer of £30, which is a lot less than cost price. She was very honest. She showed me the pictures of the cutting plates and sort of said they are not going to last long. And she's right, they look like they have had a lot of use. But I have been using them and they haven't fallen apart yet. You can see they're quite bowed and they'll scratch like anything. So I will have to get some more plates. So I spent £30 on the machine, which looks really old and worn, but it still works. Like I said, this kind of old technology is not really going to break. It's just a handle and two rollers basically. So I will replace these at some point if I find I am using it enough. I then started looking at the actual dies themselves, and what a surprise, they're really expensive as well. So this is not a cheap part of a hobby. I know it's mainly designed for paper crafts, but it is not cheap. It's a real investment, but if that is your hobby, then you probably think it is worth it. It does reduce a lot of your cutting. You can actually get them more designed for felt. So this is a snowman. It's got pre-punched holes which it should cut out for you to sew in. So the question you might be thinking is, what felt do you use? And this is certainly what I am questioning. I've tried this really stiff felt, this sort of crafts felt, and it cuts really well because it's essentially like cardboard, so it does cut well. But for embroidery, it's just not very nice to work with because it's stiff. It's very synthetic. My fabric I usually use for the felt work I do is a mix of wool. So I'm going to try that as well. 70% viscous, 70% viscous, 30% wool. But it is pretty soft, and I've heard that actually you should use 100% wool. My worry about that would be that it is too soft. So let me know in the comments if you use die cutting machine and what type of felt you use. I'm going to try our little snowman body first. The dies come sort of all attached together. You've got to break them off. Be careful because they do sort of leave slightly sharp edges. That's his little face. It's really straightforward. Sorry, I can't get good camera angle on this. you have 2 plates. You put your felt on the bottom. You put your die pressing down into it. And another plate on the top. Just going to fold that over. You can cut your felt down, but I find that actually if there's a bit of extra fabric in there, it means there's no wriggle room for the plates or the die. And then basically you just turn your handle. You may need to grab hold of this. So you can see it's a very clean cut. These little bits of felt will just pop out. They have been cut, they've just not come out properly yet. It does, my concern is, I work with this felt a lot and it is quite safe. My concern is putting it through a press and cutting it. Makes it thinner somehow. But that is a very nice shape for a snowman. So you can see that some of the felt has just got caught in the die. But that's okay. So these are really made for paper. They're going to cut out the main shape, but they also hopefully will cut out these little bits as well. If it is sharp enough, we will see. These look like they're going to be too fine. They're going to cut the felt and it's just going to fall apart. Let me show you. So nice shape, but when we start to take it out, my concern is the bit that's left is going to be too fine. It's really, really thin. I mean, it might be, I suppose, I could use some stiffer felt for these ones. But yeah, you can see it's already split there, which is a shame, because I like the design of these, but they are really for paper. You can see it's falling apart a little bit there. Let me show you some other little bits that I've done. So I've done holly leaves. This was actually in the stiff felt and they cut really nicely. And I've done some little flowers. These were in the wool felt. They came out alright. And some little tiny buttons, which are kind of cute for us embroiderers. So would I recommend it? It seems an awfully big expense just because I don't really like spending a lot of time cutting things out. However, I bought it now second hand, and I think if I stick to the big shapes, like some leaves, maybe circles, flowers, if I just get some thick dies that are sort of made for felt, then I think it will work well, and I think I can get some use out of it. But as I say, it's a big expense, and for embroidery it's not really necessary.